Hi friends, welcome to Interactive Medicine. In this section, we are continuing our CROC 1 series, and this section we are discussing about the drugs related to blood system. So we can continue. So in our blood we have RBCs, RBCs, WBCs, and platelets as formed elements. Okay, if amount of WBC increases, we can say it is leukocytosis, because more number of leukocytes are increased. In cancer condition, we can call it's leukemia, lymphogranulomatosis. In this condition, we need to inhibit its production. So leukopoiesis inhibitors include methotrexate, mercaptopurine, and prednisolone, and also 5-fluorouracil. Leukopoiesis inhibitors are able to decrease the leukocytes amount in the blood. And the side effects of leukopoiesis inhibitors is inhibition of hemopoiesis, dysfunction of liver and kidneys, teratogenicity, embryotoxicity, and the contraindications include leukopenia, anemia, thrombocytopenia, and disease of liver and kidneys, pregnancy, and lactation. So we are going to the mechanism of how leukopoiesis inhibitors work. So we need to understand the basic process where occur in the cell, and we know in DNA is made up of what? Phosphate group, pentose sugar, and nitrogen bases. We have four nitrogen bases in DNA. What are they? Who can tell me? Yes, that's correct. Adenosine, thymine, yes, cytosine, guanine. Yeah. Okay. If nitrogen bases are not formed, DNA will not formed. Okay. If we are able to block the synthesis of nitrogen base, then we can kill the unwanted cells. In leukemia, the number of WBCs are high amount, so we need to kill that leukocytes. Okay, so thymine, this is thymine, deoxythymidine monophosphate, basically thymine. Deoxythymidine monophosphates come from deoxyuridine monophosphate by the enzyme thymidylate synthase. For DNA production, folic acid is very important. So folic acid is vitamin B9. It combines with dihydrofolate. It forms dihydrofolate, becomes tetrahydrofluoride. Tetrahydrofluoride by using enzyme dihydrofolate reductase. So methotrexate or trimethoprim, methotrexate, and trimethoprim. Trimethoprim, which can block this enzyme dihydrofolate reductase. So this reaction won't occur, and tetrahydrofluorate, what is the function of tetrahydrofluorate? It is the donor it is the donor of methane for DUMP, deoxyuridine monophosphate. So if this reaction occur, tetrahydrofluoride will not form, so DUMP will not get the methyl. So DUMP will not form and tetrahydrofluoride will not form. DNA synthesis inhibited. So if this reaction occur, we are not prescribing methotrexate. Instead, we are prescribing 5-fluorouracil, which inhibits thymidylate synthase. So DUMP will not form DTMP. So DNA synthesis will not occur. This is the mechanism. So there is a question. In a hematology unit, patient with leukemia, which means increase the number of WBC in blood, prescribed 5-fluorouracil. What is the action of mechanism? Catalyze replication? No. Inhibit transcription? No. Can you guess which antimicrobial drug which can inhibit transcription? Rifampicin. Most effective anti-tuberculous drug. Most effective anti-tuberculous drug. Inhibit translation. Which antimicrobial drug? Tetracycline. And aminoglycoside. These tetracycline and aminoglycoside binds with 30S ribosome unit and (50S) ribosome unit can be inhibited by or some drugs which can interfere with 50S ribosome. What are they? Chloramphenicol, macrolide, clindamycin. Okay, final, the answer is inhibit DNA synthesis, 5-fluorouracil. So we are going to next of a section, the coagulation cascade. Coagulation cascade, we know in blood system we have endothelium. Okay, endothelium. And endothelium blood vessel is lined by endothelium. Okay, this is our endothelium. If some injury will happen, so endothelium will be damaged and there is no endothelium in this space. Okay, so von Willebrand factor will expose. What is this? Von Willebrand factor. If von Willebrand factor is not there, or as a deficiency of von Willebrand factor. What we can say in this condition? In this condition, we can say it is von Willebrand factor disease, deficiency disease. So, what is the function of von Willebrand factor? It attaches with platelet. Okay, and by GP1, and this platelet can bind with another platelet by there is a fibrinogen link. Each platelet have what? GP2B3A receptor. This one. Okay. This is how the platelet is attached to the endothelium, and from a platelet another platelet is attached to nearby its. From one platelet another platelet can attach to another platelet by fibrinogen linking. Okay, so here our collagen is exposed, so it will start to the coagulation cascade. So we are coming. So coagulation cascade, this is intrinsic pathway, this is extrinsic pathway. Okay, fact is 12 become active first, then 11 active, then 9 active, then 8 will active. The common for both eccentric and intrinsic is 10. Tissue factor is coagulation factor number 3, and it will activate 7, then it will activate 10, then 5, then 2. Just study this number 12, 11, 10, but instead of between this 10 we have 9 and 8. Okay, 10 is come from 7 plus 3, 10. Okay, 5 into 2, 10. Okay, these are common pathway. 10 into 1, 10. Okay, this is the pathway. So coagulation factor number 2 is thrombin. The inactivated coagulation factor number 2 is prothrombin. Prothrombin will form thrombin. Okay, this thrombin will convert the fibrinogen into fibrin. Did you understand? This is the clotting works. This fibrinogen become meshwork, acts as a meshwork or network, and prevent the blood flow or hemorrhage. Drugs which increasing the coagulation. We have coagulants, aggregants, and fibrinolytic inhibitors. Coagulants also known as hemostatics. We have two types, local and systemic. In local we use Tachycorp, Spongia hemostatica with ambenum. In systemic, we use Vicasol. It is an analog of vitamin K. Analog of vitamin K. Calcium chloride, also coagulants. Protamine sulfate, important. Protamine sulfate, which is anti-heparin, Then factor 7, Novoceram. Some condition some patients who don't have enough factor 7, so eccentric pathway will not occur. So we can add Novoceram as a factor 7, artificial factor 7, Novoceram. Then factor 8, Immunatem. Factor 9, Agimafix. These are the drugs we can prescribe for patients who deficient with factors of 7, 8 and 9. 9 is Agimafix, 8 is Immunatem, then 7 is Novoceram. Then we have aggregants, then we have fibrinolytic inhibitors. Just study these two, Contrical and aminocaprylic acid. So I want to say, okay, we can discuss some questions based on this topic. Preoperative examination revealed prothrombin deficiency in blood of a patient. What drug should be preliminarily prescribed to mitigate blood loss in the patient during surgery? That is Vicasol. Vitamin K. Thrombin node, aminocaprylic acid is a fibrinolytic, antifibrinolytic, and phenylene and Contrical. Contrical is a antifibrinolytic. Contrical and aminocaprylic acid inhibit plasmin formation from plasminogen, and plasmin breaks fibrin. Contrical is also a treatment for acute pancreatitis because it have also the feature of inhibition of proteolytic enzymes in pancreatic juice. So I want to discuss about how Contrical and aminocaprylic acid inhibit the plasmin formation from plasminogen, and also what is the function of plasmin. It breaks the fibrin. Okay, let's discuss. Okay, what we know, we have intrinsic pathway and extrinsic pathway. In intrinsic pathway, the common is factor 10 and 5, then 2, that is thrombin. Thrombin helps to production of helps to conversion of fibrinogen into fibrin. Okay, did you understand this one? Okay, plasmin inhibit this process. Plasmin inhibit this process. Plasmin comes from plasminogen. So plasmin inhibits this process, so fibrin will not produced. or it can dissolve the fibrin in the blood. Aminocaproic acid and chondrical are antifibrinolytics. So it inhibits this pathway. Plasmina, natural fibrinolytic, so aminocaproic acid and chondrical inhibits this pathway, so plasmin will not produced. So we can establish fibrin here. It promotes clotting. Okay, I want to say about also how the vitamin K works. Vitamin K, what we know, factor, coagulation factor 2, that is that is thrombin, and inactivated prothrombin 27 9 10, and proteins S, C, Z. Now these are inactivated. This can be activated into 2, 7, 9, 10 and SCS becomes active by the help of carboxylase enzyme. This enzyme carboxylate done the carboxylation of glutamic acid. Okay, we along with vitamin K, hydroquinone. Vitamin K hydroquinone is converted to vitamin K epoxide. Vitamin K epoxide by using carboxylase enzyme. How vitamin K epoxide becomes vitamin K hydroquinone again? So there is other reaction, that is vitamin K epoxide will convert it to vitamin K quinone by vitamin K epoxide reductase. Vitamin K epoxide reductase. Vitamin K quinone converted to vitamin K hydroquinone by using vitamin K quinone reductase. And I want to say last point, this step can be inhibited by indirect anticoagulants. Indirect anticoagulants like warfarin, syncumarin, etc. or neodecumarin, etc. Okay, did you understand this concept? This is how aminocaproic acid and chondrical inhibits plasmin formation from plasminogen. How we have intrinsic pathway and eccentric pathway, and common pathway for both two is 10, 5 and 2. 2 is the coagulation factor, number 2 is thrombin. This thrombin will helps to formation of fibrin from fibrinogen. So fibrin helps in clotting. So this fibrin can be dissolved by the protease enzyme is plasmin. So fibrin will not form and it can be dissolved, so there will be no further clotting. And plasmin is formed from plasminogen, and if we are able to block this reaction, so we can establish the clotting process or coagulation process. So aminocaproic acid and chondrical are the examples for inhibition of plasminogen into plasmin reaction. Some enzymes we need to remember that. Like promote this reaction. Promote this reaction. Plasminogen converted into plasmin. Some enzymes promote this reaction. What are they? Streptokinase, urokinase, okay, these are fibrinolytic drugs. Streptokinase, urokinase. And we are moving how the vitamin K works. So we know vitamin K helps in the activation of factors 2, 7, 9 and 10 and proteins C, Z. So it becomes, these are inactivated, it becomes activated by the enzyme carboxylase with carboxylation of glutamic acid, and along with vitamin K, hydroquinone is converted to vitamin K epoxide. So vitamin K epoxy site is converted to vitamin K quinone by the enzyme vitamin K epoxide reductase. Vitamin K quinone is converted to vitamin K vitamin K quinone is converted to vitamin K hydroquinone with the help of enzyme vitamin K quinone reductase. And indirect anticoagulants or vitamin K antagonists which can block this reaction. So vitamin K will not activated, so these coagulation factors will not activated, so we can prevent the clotting. Example, we use warfarin, Sincumar, and neodymium, etc. And we already said we can go next. A patient with acute myocardial infarction has been administered heparin as a part of complex therapy. Sometime after heparin injection, the patient developed hematuria. What heparin antagonist should be injected to remove the complication? We said protamine sulfate is uh, um, it has the anti-heparin effect because it have sulfhydryl groups, active sulfhydryl group. Protamine sulfate have sulfhydryl groups. It can bind with heparin. Vicazole is vitamin K analog. Aminocaproic acid is antifibrinolytic. Neodymium is indirect anticoagulant, and it is a vitamin K antagonist. Fibrinogen, it can form fibrin by the help of thrombin. And to stop bleeding, the patient was prescribed direct coagulant. During introduction of the solution, the patient was complaining of pain along vein, hot sensation, and palpitation. Name the drug that causes such symptoms. That is calcium chloride. Streptokinase is streptokinase is fibrinolytic. It is fibrinolytic, and also urokinase. Pentoxyl is not the answer. Ergocalciferol not the answer, and the hirudin is natural anticoagulant. It comes from Hirudinaria, and calcium chloride is an example of direct coagulant. Ergocalciferol, also known as vitamin D2 and calciferol, it is a type of vitamin D found in the food and used as dietary supplement. Pentoxyphyllin or pentoxyl is also known as oxpentyphyllin, is a xanthine derivative used as a drug to treat muscle pain in people with peripheral artery disease. Streptokinase is a fibrinolytic drug promote the plasmin formation, so it can promote the clotting coagulation. A 30-year-old patient with a past history of virus B hepatitis complains of prolonged nosebleeds. What drug will be most efficient in remedying this condition? So we need to stop the bleeding. So aspartame, it is not the answer, because aspartame is a potassium aspartate. It is to eliminate the potassium and magnesium. It is to eliminate potassium and magnesium deficiency as supporting as an agent in complex therapy. Along with complex therapy, it is used for coronary artery diseases. Aspartame is one of the drug in the complex therapy for coronary artery disease, and it is to eliminate the magnesium and potassium deficiency. And dipyridamole, another option, and it is a nucleoside transport inhibitor and a PDE3 inhibitor medication that inhibits blood clot formation when given chronically, and causes blood vessel dilation when given at high doses over a short time. Blood vessel dilation will occur when it is given at a higher doses over a short time. It can inhibit blood clot formation when given chronically. Natroparin or fraxiparin is an anticoagulant, belongs to the class of drugs of low molecular weight heparins. So heparin is inhibited by, or it is antidote for heparin, is protamine sulfate. So to prevent post-operative bleeding, a 6-year-old child administered Vicasol. It is a synthetic analog of vitamin K. Name the post-translation changes of blood coagulation factors that will be activated by Vicasol. So blood coagulation factors. This is blood coagulation factors will be, this is inactivated and it becomes activated by the use of enzyme carboxylase along with the carboxylation of glutamic acid, and vitamin K hydroquinone is converted to vitamin K epoxide. So this is our point. Glutamic acid, carboxylation of glutamic acid will occur. Next, our concept is drugs decreasing the coagulation. Anticoagulants, fibrinolytics, and antiplatelets. These are the drugs we need to study. So, in anticoagulants, there is direct action and indirect action. Drugs will be, we can see. So, I already said about the indirect actions. Warfarin, which can block the enzyme vitamin K epoxide reductase and vitamin K quinone reductase, and neodigmarin also same function, and these drugs also have enantiomers, coumarins. In coumarins, it includes neodigmarin, warfarin, and zincumar. In enantiomers, it include phenylene. We get an option here, phenylene. Here we can see phenylene. It is not a fibrinolytic. It is indirect. Sorry. It is indirect. Indirect action. Indirect action of or anticoagulants. Anticoagulants. It can block vitamin K. So it promotes the anticoagulation. Then fibrinolytics, which includes streptokinase, urokinase, and these drugs promote the plasmin formation from plasminogen. I already said about this mechanism. Then antiplatelet drugs. So this is where the heparin direct action of heparin, how it is. This is antithrombin. Heparin bind with antithrombin and it tie with the thrombin. We know we have two pathway, intrinsic, extrinsic pathway, and prothrombin converted to thrombin. Thrombin promotes fibrinogen to fibrin. So this is our thrombin, and thrombin promotes coagulation. Okay, this is our heparin. It binds with antithrombin and it can make a tie. So the antithrombin is going to bind with thrombin and there is no free thrombin available, so fibrinogen get converted to fibrin. This reaction will not occur because free thrombin is not available. That is the function of heparin. That's we can see here. Heparin binds with antithrombin, antithrombin binds with a thrombin, and it makes a tie. So there is no availability of thrombin. If there is no free thrombin available, fibrinogen not get converted into fibrin, so there is no coagulation. This I already said that vitamin K epoxide. This is our protein, coagulation proteins. This is become gamma carboxylated protein and also activated by the enzyme carboxylase or vitamin K dependent carboxylase. So in this time vitamin K hydroquinone is converted to vitamin K epoxide. Then vitamin K epoxide is converted to vitamin K quinone by the enzyme epoxide reductase, and this vitamin K quinone is converted to vitamin K hydroquinone by the enzyme vitamin K quinone reductase. The indirect anticoagulants can bind or inhibit this reaction. For an example, warfarin, sincomar, neodymium, phenylene. So there is no vitamin K available, so this reaction will not occur. So protein do not activate it, so there is no coagulation will occur. Direct action, we have low molecular weight enoxaparin and natriureparin and fractionated heparin also available. Indirect action, we have vitamin K blockers, coumarin and indandiones. In coumarins we have neodymium, warfarin, sincomar. In indandiones we have phenylene. We already said that the fibrinolytic action, plasmin gets into plasminogen gets into plasmin, then plasmin can dissolve the fibrin, contrical, a protein or contrical. This is contrical aminocapric acid. This can bind this reaction, so fibrin will not produce. So there is no clot formation. This is antiplasmin drugs. In this case, we are going to study fibrinolytics. Fibrinolytics promote these are antiplasmin drugs and it promotes coagulation. Fibrinolytics not forming fibrin. It will inhibit. It will promote fibrin destruction by activating plasmin through this reaction, plasminogen into plasmin reaction, and fibrin will become split products. TPA derivatives, example alteplase, streptokinase and also urokinase. These are the example for fibrinolytics. Plasmin is an autologous serum protease. So it can destruct, it can protease, it can break the fibrins and it can degrade fibrin floats. We have platelet activation and platelet aggregation. So in first time I said that this is our endothelium, and if endothelium ruptured here, so von Willebrand factor will become exposed. So von Willebrand factor is attached to platelet with the receptor of GP1B are present in platelet, and one platelet is attached to another platelet by GP2B3A complex, and between this we can see a fibrinogen linking. Platelet aggregation happen due to first is platelet activation. How platelet becomes activated, then only platelet aggregation will happen. Platelet need to be activated. There is some process will occur, because we know in arachidonic acid there is prostaglandin will produced. Then we have thromboxane A2. This thromboxane A2 have specific receptor in platelet, so it will activate the platelet for attachment. And we have some receptor PAR1, that is protease activator receptor, so it is activated by thrombin. And we have purinergic receptor, and it binds with ADP. So through these reactions platelet can be activated. So aspirin is an NSAID which can block the cyclooxygenase 1, so this reaction will not occur, thromboxane will not produced. And we have some drug Vorapaxar which inhibits this binding, and clopidogrel is another drug which can block this receptor, purinergic receptor, so platelet activation won't work. So simultaneously the platelet aggregation can be blocked by abciximab and tirofiban drugs which binds with the GP2B3A complex. So we are discussing some questions in 2012 and 2010. A patient suffers from stenocardia and takes isosorbate mononitrate. It is a nitroglycerin. It can dilate the blood vessel. He was prescribed a complementary drug with disaggregating effect. Validol is a nitroglycerin. It is an organic nitrate drug. Nifedipine is calcium channel blocker. Propranolol is beta blocker. Nitroglycerin also it's a organic nitrate. Acetyl salicylic acid is aspirin which can block cyclooxygenase 1. A patient has myocardial infarction with a thrombosis of the left coronary artery. What pharmacological preparation group should be used to re-establish blood flow? Glucocorticoids, no. Angiotensin converters inhibitors, not. Beta adrenergic blockers, not. Narcotic analgesics, no. This is the answer. Fibrinolysis activators, because fibrinolysis activators can decrease coagulation. Some example for fibrinolysis activators is streptokinase, urokinase, etc. A patient with myocardial infarction in acute phase has been hospitalized into cardiology unit to induce platelet lysis the patient coronary vessels during 8 hours of infarction. The following enzyme should be administered. So to induce platelet lysis in the patient coronary vessel during the 8 hours infarction, the following enzyme should be chymotrypsin, no. Trypsin, no. Lysozyme, no. Hyaluronic acid, no. Streptokinase is the only answer, possible answer. So patient with ischemic heart disease prescribed small doses of aspirin. This drug inhibits synthesis of platelet aggregation activator thromboxane A2. What substance is the activator synthesized from? We know thromboxane A2 is from prostaglandins, and it is from arachidonic acid. This is the answer. A 46-year-old female scheduled for maxillofacial surgery. It is known that the patient is prone to high blood coagulation. Natural anticoagulant can be used to prevent blood clotting. So fibrinolysin, it is not a natural anticoagulant. Sodium citrate, it is not natural anticoagulant. Hirudin, it is natural anticoagulant, but it is not used in humans because it is from Hirudinaria. Heparin is natural direct anticoagulant. After implantation of cardiac valve, a young man systematically takes indirect anticoagulants. Okay, his state was complicated by hemorrhage because there's loss of blood will occur. What substance content has decreased in the blood? So they are asking what substance content has decreased in their blood. So ceruloplasmin, no, it is associated with copper transfer. Creatine, no, it is muscle waste product. Heparin, it is a natural anticoagulant. Haptoglobin, it's not. Prothrombin, yeah, prothrombin is converted to thrombin. So indirect anticoagulant will inhibit vitamin K. Vitamin K is necessary for prothrombin production or activation of prothrombin. So substance content decreased in the blood is activated prothrombin. Then finally we need to study about plasma substitutes. Okay, classification, which include salines, isotonics, NaCl of 0.9%, very important, and alkaline solutions, which we have sodium bicarbonate, drug containing components of human blood, human albumin, and dry plasma, synthetic plasma expanders, rheopolyglucane, glucose, isotonic glucose solution 5%. So plasma substitute we need to understand, we need to at least know about isotonic of NaCl 0.9%, this albumin and dry plasma, rheopolyglucane, isotonic glucose solution 5%, sodium hydrocarbonate. So there is a question: acute hemorrhage. Patient have sudden hemorrhage, sudden blood loss, and the body loses not only fluid but also electrolytes. What substance can be solution can be used as simple blood substitute? That is saline, sodium chloride. Okay. Okay, friends. I think this video is helpful for you. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can comment in the box. If you like this video, please make a thumbs up and share to your friends and subscribe our channel, guys. Bye, friends.